Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to echo my colleague here, my St. Paul colleague, Senator Murphy, about the promise of legislation here. And I want to speak a little bit about the Rondo community, the Rondo Bridge, or the land bridge. I wasn't here, when we hear story about the thriving black community here in the 50s, and I'm sure half of the people in this room may not be here. But I have read a good story of the progress back then. I just want to share two stories that I heard personally. One is from the mayor of St. Paul, Mayor Melvin Carter, and he talked about his dad. When he was younger, his dad drove him on Highway 94 and said, "Our house used to be here, our house used to be here," and we passed. There we go, we passed our house, our family house. The second story I heard was from a good friend of mine. He's 15 years of my elders. A German immigrant came here as a child. His parents took him to New Ulm, didn't quite like it there, and moved here to St. Paul. And he remembered that his father had to rent an apartment from a black landlord. And that was the first time he saw a black person. This tells me a lot about the community back then, the ownership of black community in the Rondo area. And again, I wasn't here in the 50s, but I was here in the 90s. And I see a thriving multicultural community. Black Americans helping new Americans, Hmong, Somali, Vietnamese, Cambodian. That changed the whole dynamic of Frogtown. Business thriving again, like we're all going through. And we have an opportunity here to extend further, to reconnect the past with now and build something better for the future. And so I want to stand by my colleague, Senator Murphy, to ask that our body here and the majority leaders to reconsider putting this back in, because stripping it will be an insult action and shameful for going back on our words. So thank you, Mr. President.